Now, I don't want you to throw good money after bad. So let's talk about Avvo. I'm Darcel Lobo, an attorney who teaches you how to open and build a successful law firm. And if you're thinking about paying for Avvo for leads or paying to upgrade your Avvo profile, you need to watch this video right now before you spend a single dollar. Now, this is based on my experience as a lawyer, as a law firm owner. Some attorneys may have had success, but I don't think that's the case for most of them. Now, there can be exceptions, and if you're a solo attorney or a small law firm owner with a limited marketing budget, here's where I'd spend my money instead. First, we're going to talk about why people are on Avvo looking for an attorney. They are usually comparing multiple attorneys. They're usually reaching out to several attorneys at the same time. They're usually looking at pricing, trying to find the cheapest attorney, and there hasn't been an established know, like, and trust factor established at all. These are all going to be cold leads. So then you end up having conversations like, oh, how much do you charge? And can you beat this attorney's price? And, oh, I'm just trying to gather information. And that is a problem for you. That is a huge problem for you as a solo attorney because your time is limited. Consultations take time, especially if you're doing them for free. And the follow-up afterwards takes time. So we have to make sure we are using the best use of your time and being efficient with your time and getting an ROI on your time and not wasting time on leads that are going to go nowhere. The bottom line here is this: cheap leads are going to yield poor results for you, especially when they're cold. Instead, we want to work on developing warm and hot leads who cannot wait to hire you as their attorney. And let's just talk about the Avvo platform and kind of what you're doing for Avvo when you are paying for a profile. When someone finds you on Avvo, they're on Avvo's website. There's all these sponsored attorneys right next to yours. They're seeing dozens of other attorneys. It really is a pay-to-play game there. And contrast that to what you could be doing and what you could be focusing your time, your effort, your energy, and your money on if you want to do so, right? Your website, your story, your expertise, your authority, your testimonials from other clients, your process, how you work with clients, right? Starting to actually build that know, like, and trust factor on your digital space, on your website, right? Versus working on building out Avvo's website for Avvo. And if you're going to pay for any marketing, it should be Google. Especially for most of you who have a consumer type practice where you're flat fee or hourly. We'll get into my PI attorneys and contingency fees here shortly. But for most of you who are flat fee or hourly, if you're going to spend any marketing dollars, you're looking at Google, right? And at least, even before you spend any money there, you want to make sure that you're building out your entire platform, making sure you're getting reviews, making sure you have videos, making sure you have photos, making sure you have directions and your hours and your office accommodations. If you have an elevator, if you have free parking, like all of that should be filled out on your Google My Business profile. That is going to go much further than the Avvo profile. And for a lot of my attorneys, like, I get it. You don't have a lot of time and it seems easier to just spend some money on Avvo and hope that it yields you a return. But the problem is that you're not going to get the return you're looking for. At least that has not been the case that I have seen for any of my law firm owners, right? So let's spend the time, let's spend the money building out your own digital real estate, claiming your space online, and not be paying to play on Avvo's platform. It just is not going to yield you the results that you want for. And so if I were to have a limited budget and be opening my law firm right now, I would invest in assets that I actually own. So again, my own website. If you wanted to use another platform, even whether it's social media or YouTube or for Google, those are going to get you so much further than paying for Avvo. And let's be honest, if somebody is looking like cold for an attorney, they're probably starting on Google. They may eventually get to Avvo afterwards, but Google's where they're going to start. So we want to make sure we kind of went over kind of the key points to cover as far as what you should be filling out for your Google profile, but also ensure you're getting reviews, right? We want to get you on the organic results for the map. You may not be on page 1 of search results because that is also pay to play, but you can get on the map by having reviews and having your profile fully filled out. And a Google profile is going to go further as far as the trust that you're building with a potential client versus Avvo. Your Avvo reviews, if you get any there, they stay inside Avvo. Whereas with Google reviews, those will be online and will show up in the organic Google results and just help your profile overall show up more organically. So before you spend any money on Avvo, your Google profile needs to be filled out. Your website it doesn't need to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect, but it needs to be a solid B+ as far as content, information, downloadable guides for potential clients, your blog, your FAQs, things like that. That all needs to be filled out. And before you spend any money on Avvo, you should have at least 20 Google reviews, right? If you don't have 20 Google reviews, don't waste time and money trying to pay for Avvo. Let's go to our clients and get reviews. Every time you even have a consultation with someone, even if they don't hire you, you provided value to them during that consultation. Ask for a review. We need to build out these free profiles, especially Google, before we start paying for other ones, especially something like Avvo. As you can see, I'm not a huge fan of Avvo. I have a profile, it's filled out, there's photos on there, there's some old reviews there, but my effort is spent on my Google profile. And if you watched any of my other videos, you know I'm also going to tell you, aside from claiming your profile online and having your website and making content or putting out posts, whatever you're going to do, you need to make sure that you are creating and nurturing and growing relationships with people, one person at a time. And this does not mean just go have coffee with as many people as possible. That's not going to work. You need to actually create relationships with people and not just looking at what can you get from the relationship, but what can you give, right? I have had such a return on what I've given to other people with no expectation of anything in return. But that has come back to me so many times over. So we do want to identify and be strategic with who we are reaching out to. We want to find other attorneys, other professionals who come into contact with your ideal client. You need to know who that is. Who are you looking to help? What is the problem that you're solving? Who is your client going to when they have an issue or a legal problem that you can help solve? We need to make sure we are identifying these people, meeting with them, and actually creating relationships with them, getting to know them so they get to know us and trust us with their referrals as well. It is a two-way street. It is not you just take. You are give many more times over than you are looking to take. Again, we are planting these seeds now. You may not see them grow in the first month, in the first 3 months, but we are planting these seeds. Business that I get now, a lot of it comes from people that I have known or maybe met years ago. But I still do this work continually, intentionally. And I've been practicing law for 17 years now. And I don't stop. And you shouldn't be stopping either. So before we start throwing money at something like Avvo, you need to have your free profiles, especially on Google, filled out. You need to identify people that you're reaching out to, following up with, keeping contact with, figuring out where your client is, and getting yourself in front of that client. Whether that's social media, if that's Facebook groups or TikTok or Instagram, wherever your client may be. If it's church groups, your Rotary clubs, your BNI groups, your Chamber of Commerce, you are the expert on the problem that you solve. You are the expert on who your client is. You should be able to identify where they go when they have the problem that you can solve. And then you just need to get there. That's where you need to be. There is no shortage of clients at all. Your clients are out there. You've heard me say this many times. Your clients are out there. They need you. They need your help. They just don't know that you exist. So let's be intentional. Let's be smart about how we are spending our time and how we are showing up and where we are showing up to make sure that when they have the problem, they find us as a person to help them solve that problem. Okay, so I spent the past 10 minutes trashing Avvo, which wasn't really the intention, but I just see too many attorneys paying for Avvo and it yields nothing, right? And so I would say I do have an Avvo profile. It's filled out. Again, it has my photo. It has some reviews from years ago. I don't ask for Avvo reviews at this time. So have a profile, fill it out, but don't focus a lot of your effort there. You're not going to get the return you're looking for. And I would really caution you against paying for it. So this is going to take me to my PI attorneys because I'm probably going to have a few PI attorneys who disagree with me. And that's okay. And I get it. I understand that contingency fee practices are different. I've had a number of contingency fee law firm owners that I work with and I've helped. And I understand how that marketing game is different and the pay to play aspect of being a PI attorney and being readily available and being able to respond. And so I understand how that is different than a flat fee practice or an hourly practice. But even there, I think the same principles hold true, is that you really still want to focus on establishing and growing referral relationships. I think Google should be prioritized over Avvo. Even still, I think there's other things that you can do to make your time and money go further than Avvo, especially when the client is, or potential client, is shopping around, is a cold lead, you haven't established no like and trust, right? I just don't know that Avvo is the best place to be. But I do acknowledge that it can be a bit of a different playing field for my PI attorneys. So I understand that. I'm aware of that. I'm still not going to give a huge vote of confidence into Avvo. But also, if Avvo brings you even one good PI case, it can be worth it, right? It's just, are you going to get the one good PI case from Avvo? I'm not so sure about that one. So if you're opening your law firm today, make sure you have a business plan. I have a free one for you. It is linked down below for you. So make sure you have gotten it. I've got a few freebies for you actually. So make sure you get all of those. Actually fill it out. Follow what it says so you have a strong foundation in building your law firm. And if you are just opening your law firm, then you're going to need this video next because I walk you through what you need to do in your first 90 days. So day 1 to day 90, what you need to be doing in your new law firm. All right, that wraps us up, and I'll see you in the next one.